Yo, what's up, me randos? Now, it's a bit of a weird one. School detention. We're given a school detention and you don't turn up, you don't go. And I did that when I was at school. Guilty as charged. And then they gave me another detention slip, right? And the reasons on it was failing. So I got a detention for failing to attend a detention. And I found that so funny, plus the ticking off I got when it was handed to me, and I had a bit of an attitude, and I had this little clique that I used to go around with. Lucky, really, even though I was the first one that kind of got outed as gay, I suddenly developed this little clique of us that all actually turned out gay as well. But though at the time we weren't fully aware of it. I mean, I was, but I was seen from the teacher's perspective as a bit of a queer ringleader, and that I was like getting a following and like turning everybody gay sort of thing. And there was parents as well thinking that I was doing that to their kids, and it was like, that was a thing, especially the lads. Like, how could I turn lads gay if I was a lesbian? Like, seriously. But it was generally frowned upon, being told that their son was knocking around with me. Okay, to a point where instantly grounded. You're not hanging around with her no more. I've heard things about her. Lead you down the wrong path. Bear in mind, these lads were sucking cock. It was nothing to do with me, and I wouldn't have showed them or led them into them kind of, you know. But anyway, you were seen, young lady, skipping up the road with your little crew after school when you should have been in detention. We was all skipping up the road, I'll tell you now, because we was all going to sing on my mate's karaoke machine thing he got. Anyway, it amused me that much, plus the way they said, yeah, you was seen skipping up the road with your little crew, knowing what that all meant at the time. So I was 15, 16 at the time. I was very self-aware. I kept the detention slip because it made me laugh that much. And it's got detention for failing to attend detention, and it's not even that funny really, but it amused me at the time, so I kept it. And I've been trying to find it to show Jane, to show little Miss Madder, look at this shit. I can't find it at the minute. It'll come to light and I will find it. But while I was searching for it, okay, I come across 3 other things from exactly 30 years ago this year. 30 years, I don't know where the times went. Oh, sorry, 2 things, I think, from 30 years ago, and 1 from around the year 2000, 2001. But it's that cringe. I just want to share it with you because it's just something I did. It's just something I did, and I probably wouldn't even do now. Now I make these videos, which is probably even more cringe. But right, we're going to start with the first thing, which is from 1994, which was an assignment we had to do in RE, Religious Studies. And it's just funny because there was one rule to this, and the one rule was, like, be kind, no criticism. You had to say a comment about the rest of the classmates, each individually. You had to leave a comment for them, but no criticism. Okay, so yeah, look at these. Look at these. This is what my classmates all said about me, and there is fucking criticism in there, but it's funny. It's funny. Like, I took it as funny. I kept it anyway. If it had been something that really pissed me off, I'd have burnt it. Trust me. Right, I've had to regroup looking through them now. I was like, well, why did I keep this? I couldn't find the thing. I thought it was one thing that I did, which was an ad in a free paper in the Lonely Hearts column. And it's not actually that ad. It's something else, but it is all connected. So I'm going to put it up anyway, I think. There's no way the person knew this message in the paper, which was a gay paper as well, called the Pink Paper, which I don't think they even get anymore. It was a Valentine's message for my first love, the person who turned me gay when I was 12. And yeah, but it's all connected. I said we were starting with this thing from RE anyway, which here is the assignment. Okay, what you had to do was draw around your own hand on a piece of blank paper, Right, no criticism at the top and your name. Whoever wrote no criticism on this was one of my classmates who commented on it, but that ain't my writing, and they've spelled criticism wrong. That says no criticism. No criticism. That ain't my writing, that's my writing where I've written my name. Okay. But yeah, some of these comments, and when like the teacher, because like we was all laughing at these comments, and he's like, what's so funny? And I'm like, it's the comments, them really good. I was like, but it's really funny. And he's like, well, let me read about them. Thinking that we was making a private joke that was not related, but we weren't. It was this. When it come back to me, I couldn't believe the reaction. Okay. So, see if we can get them all on. She's a good friend and a laugh. She's a good laugh and fun. She's a good friend and a laugh. She's a great friend and funny. Good laugh. A laugh. And this one's kind of a criticism. She's a bit stupid, but a laugh. This one kills me. This is the biggest criticism of all. And it was somebody I just pissed off that day because they was the butt of my joke in PE. And all they did was fall over a hurdle. And I got in trouble. I got a detention for this, right? I was stood there. She fell over. She did the fucking assault course fine. Fell over the very last hurdle, which was the smallest hurdle of the lot, and fell in front of us. And all I said was, I bet she drinks Carling Black Label. And it was out and detention, and you will get a detention for that. And I had to run around the fucking field for that. Oh, I attended that one. That's all I said. And because I'd said that, when we had RE the afternoon, she wrote this on my fucking assignment, and it's meant to say she's an idiot, right? Do you know what it says? She's an idiot. She's an idiot. Nice one. Then somebody's put here, she's a laugh and quite friendly. She's a laugh again. Then somebody's put, she's a laugh, forget all those up there. sticking up for me. The ones that have said, oh, it's a bit stupid and she's an idiot. That was the only two. Somebody's put, she's mad in the nicest possible way. Bear in mind I was 14 and when we did this, 14 years old. She's very funny, especially when she's in a good and happy mood. That reminds me of Kells, that does, because Kells is like, that's my rando, doing the really crazy comedy videos. So yeah, what that had to do with religion, I don't know. I think it was becoming about understanding yourself and your traits and how everybody else perceives you. But the biggest rule with that is whatever anybody else thinks of you really is none of your business. And it can do your head in. Because this inner critic in here will tell you everybody hates you, everybody's against you, and on a bad day, everything can really look like that. Mental health. That's like 30 years old, and a lot of it ain't changed, and it still makes me chuckle. Then the next thing, okay? Teenagers and magazines. And most of us would just go to the back to the problem pages to see what other teenagers were struggling with back in the 90s. And I was brave enough to write to one of these magazines about my crush on another girl, about finding out if it meant that when I grew up I was going to be a lesbian, full-fledged lesa, because I was not comfortable with the idea of that. I hated the word, I hated the label, and I would never have tried it on with this love of mine, this friend of mine, because, well, she was straight. She knew I was in love with her. Somebody told her, she got told, and she weren't bothered. If anything, it made her hang around with me even more, which was beautiful. But I would have never have overstepped the line or tried to kiss her or tried it on with her. Like, my biggest thing with her was trying to make her laugh, because I used to love to see her laugh, and if I could do something that made her laugh or made her day or just made her, you know, smile, that was enough for me at that time. And a big part of me is like that now. But then I could get the chance to go around throwing myself at everybody, going, oh, come on, Give it to me, baby. So I wrote to the problem pages, like saying, I've got these feelings from my best friend. Does it mean I'm going to grow up as a lesbian? The magazine, you might well have heard of it. It was called Just 17. And I used to get it every week to look for pictures of East 17 and keep them and put them on my wall. So this was 10th of January 1994. And this was their response, which I thought was poxy. They didn't print my letter. They didn't print my problem. But they did acknowledge it. And this is how they acknowledged it. Okay? So, and I kept it as well because I like the Just 17 logo and the star, how they did it. Dear Paula, thank you for your letter. Unfortunately, Anita Naik, who was the problem lady, is away on holiday and won't be back until February. Anita has written 2 books in which you'll find all the answers to your questions. So try and get a hold of a copy of one or both of them. Am I Normal? By Anita Naik. Oh my God, so the woman who was away on holiday or who dealt with the gay section of the problems or wherever wrote books as well. Am I Normal by Anita Naik, £3.50, publisher Hodder, and Coping with Crushes by Anita Naik. And that was £4.99 then, published by Sheldon Press. Hope this helps. All the best, Jenny. Jenny Baxter, Advice Assistant. And she actually writ a kiss, and Jenny, she actually signed it properly as well, which is another reason why I kept it. Another thing I'm going to do is try and get a copy of these books, just for shits and giggles, because I have actually turned out fully fledged rug muncher, even though I haven't had much rug munching action in the past 5 years. But I've since, writing to them, done everything that I was scared to do and allowed what I was to be a thing. I weren't struggling with it. So, Coping with Crushes and Am I Normal? Bear in mind this was 1994, guys. It was a different time. But that was the best advice they could give me. And I remember my mate saying, did Just 17 ever print your problem? I was like, well, I'd have bloody showed you, wouldn't I, if they had? And he's like, so what did they do? I went and they responded. I was like, what? In a letter? I'm like, yeah, they wrote back to me. So, and what did they say? I went, I'll just show you the letter here. And she pissed herself laughing. She says, basically, that says, thanks for your letter asking for help. We can't help you, but go and buy a book. This is, that's the best way to fob somebody off I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, if you look at it like that, at least they've answered me back. They could have not printed my letter and not even answered me. So, this is, it begs the question if half of them problems, which are really bad, to do with like sexual abuse and stuff, some of them, if they were made up, I'm like, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? But we'll never know that. Are these magazines even a thing anymore? Does Just 17 even exist anymore? God, we've even got a fax number and everything on here. That's mad, fax. But yeah, so that was that. That was when I was like coming to terms with sexuality. Which leads me to this, which was from the pink paper in 1997. I don't even know why I did this, because I think I just wanted to see a Valentine's message printed in the pink paper. And I don't know if I've mentioned it to you before, like one of the horrible names I got given at junior school was Psycho. Fucking Psycho. And it was because I flicked out a guy who had stole my L rubber eraser, okay, that I had from the Frank Chapman Centre. Bear in mind, this was like in the 80s. This is years before Randonautica, but I was quite fond of my L rubber and my squirrel rubber. I know exactly where it is. I suppose to back this up, you need to see it, don't you? So the fucker had just come out. The teacher had left the room. You see how often we were unsupervised down that bloody primary school? It was ridiculous in the 80s, the state of the education. So the teacher had left the room, or we hadn't got a teacher again for the day. That happened a lot. And this twat, God, this twat, anyway, this arsehole, he gets up walks over. Now, I was a really kind kid. I shared everything. All my pens, felts, crayons, anything I got, I'd share it or let you borrow it for whatever reason. One rule, just give it me back. This bastard got up, come over, grabbed my rubber off the desk, right, and went, oh, I'm having that. And just walked off, the fat prick. And yeah, it was a lad. I was always picked on by lads. One, I was engrossed and really enjoying what I was doing at that time. I barely noticed the fucking teacher leave the room. But the fact that he just, out of sheer boredom and nastiness, just got up and went, oh, I'm having that. I'd made no big deal about how fond I was of this rubber. And on any other day, I probably wouldn't have even got up and done what I did next. But I got up and he put it in his desk because we had one of them old-fashioned lift-up desks. He'd actually walked over back to his desk, put it in his desk. And I was like, fuck this. I was like 9, 10 years old. I was like, it was the same class where the Ouija board thing and everything came into it. The old owl rubber. And he went back to his desk and put it in his desk, right? Not only that, I had it from the Frank Chapman Centre, which was like a nature activity week I went on. Like a school trip where you stayed and you slept in the dormitory and you'd go out in the daytime and do canoeing. You'd go out into the woods like frog pond dipping, orienteering, stuff like that. I said canoeing, didn't I? Swimming. It was really, really cool. And I enjoyed it, and you could like buy little things from the shop to take with you, and I've kept them. And that would have been like 1988, 89 when I went to the Frank Chapman Centre, so it was around the same times where the Ouija board thing had come up. Now I know this happened after the Ouija board thing, so my reaction to him taking that, it was extreme. It didn't deserve the name Psycho, and it was blew up way out of proportion, but everything always was when I thought back. But anyway, something nice again. As well as the owl, you could have a little squirrel. See, I was a nice kid. I liked nice things, but if somebody was mean to me, I didn't always just take it. And I took a lot. Trust me, I used to take beatings off them bastards. So what I did was, I don't have one here, but I have something very similar. And I definitely don't have the exact weapon. We were doing the, you know, the arty-farty things you could do with a compass. With a point on and a pencil, and you draw like flowers and colour them in. This is why I was engrossed. I loved doing stuff like that as well. So he took my rubber, put it in his desk, and I thought, well, if you can do stuff while he walks out the room, so can I, and I want that fucking rubber back. It means a lot to me. I enjoyed that trip, and that is mine. You fucking bastard. Inside I was fuming. So I picked up my compass. This isn't a compass, it's a half a dart, for some reason that's in there, and I give him the benefit of the doubt. I didn't just attack him as much as I fucking wanted to, just for the cheek of what he did. I was like, you took my rubber, give it me back. And then it was his reaction, he's like, what you on about, you nutter? I took no rubber. And he just blankly done it and put it in his desk, and I couldn't stand anything like that where they were making out I was imagining things and they'd just done something. The whole fucking class witnessed him do it. I'm like, I'm going to count to three. And you're going to open that desk and give me back my rubber, and we'll forget it. And same we are. Or I will make sure I get that rubber back. And he's like, go on then, get your rubber back. And he didn't see this compass got in my hand, which was a lot small. The point on it was like that. It was tiny, okay? And he happened to have his hands on the desk, like trying to hold it down. So I saw my moment, and I seized the moment, and I stabbed the prick in the hand, not that deep, hard enough to make him lift his hands off the desk, lifted up the desk, took my L rubber back out the desk, and slammed it down. Didn't go on him, didn't hurt him. That part didn't, but it made every fucker jump, which is what I wanted to do. Which meant stop fucking with me. That's all I wanted to do. Anyway, this tiny little pinprick in his hand, the compass weren't stuck in his hand. I took the compass back to my desk and he sat down, carried on with my flowers and my colouring, you know. And he started crying, didn't he? And he held his hand. And all the kids seemed to get up and go round and putting their arms around him going, ah. And at that moment, in walks the fucking teacher. Right, and I looked, just saw a tiny little pinprick in his hand with a drop of blood. It weren't even bleeding. I just lifted the skin. And so she goes, what's gone on? Paul has stabbed. And they said his name. Paul has stabbed him, sir. Has stabbed him. No mention of him taking my rubber off the desk. No mention of him saying that he didn't do it. So she looks at me, goes red in the face with anger and goes, now you've done it. Now you've done it. I'll never forget that. And I had to go and stand in the headmistress's office all afternoon, just stand there with my face against the wall and think about what I'd done. Ooh. The damage came when he was walking me to the headmistress's office and he was talking about a visit to the high school that we were all going to be going to in the following year or 2 years, because it was like it was some kind of profiling, because he said he'd been defending me all morning and that the school didn't want to accept someone like me, whatever the fuck that meant. He says, and I regret it now you've done this. So you need to stand in there all afternoon and think about what you've done. Standing there looking at a blank white wall, knowing that what I did was really fucking right at that stage, all the beatings I took, and never hit back. So it was a little bit extreme, but yeah, that got me the name Psycho. In the Valentine's message section of the pink paper, to my first love, the first girl I ever fell in love with, when I realised I was gay, so I used the nickname that she had, which was Griffo, the one and only, can't get you out my mind, and you just won't let go of my heart, Psycho. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Oh God, there's another one here from me. And she was Ace and I was Nuts. And it says, Ace, are you famous again? Happy Valentine's Day, love, Nuts. That's right underneath. Oh my God. And I've actually got photos on my fridge of both Ace, Louise, and I've got a picture of Griffo on my fridge from back in day. Yeah, Psycho. And then that brings me on to this last piece. So all the horror fans are going to love this. Okay. Because, yeah, there's nothing more psychotic than a murderer. And I've only ever been to one audition in my life, and that was because I wanted to audition for something, because I'd never got the chance to do it. And this was my audition to join a crew working as actors in a horror maze. First ever one that Birmingham did. Like, they gave you this monologue and you had 20 minutes to read it over and over again, memorise it on a stage without it, and say it either word for word or in your own words as though you were the killer. And it's an extract from Cold Bloody Murderer by Liza Thompson. Okay, I am going to read it because I can't obviously remember it off by heart, but you had to say this really convincingly, and I loved it. I really enjoyed doing this, actually, pretending I was a psycho, pretending I was a murderer, and trying to convince them. So here's the words. It's because I like it. I don't expect you to understand what it's like. You have no idea to hold someone's life in your hands, to be in control. There's always that moment of acknowledgement between a killer and their victim. That instant when she realises your power and looks at you, and you look at her, and she pleads with her eyes. She begs for mercy, for her life. And then you have a split second to decide. To save her? Well, that's great. You could give her her life back, give her back to her family and her friends, the people that love her. But to kill her, that's something different. To remove her from this earth, to take away the thing most value above all, her life. Yeah, that's real power. The acting side of it, plus the way I'd been the victim all my life, it was kind of such a switch, and I put my fucking heart and soul into that, and I didn't actually expect to get picked. I just wanted to audition for something, just to say I'd auditioned in my life, and I got the bloody part. And they said it was one of the best monologue recitals of all, and I got to play a dead bride. I actually got to wear a wedding dress for the one and only time in my life, but not only that, a wedding dress covered in blood. That was like some real fucking darkness right there as a dead bride. Best job ever! That's just something I wanted to share with you, just something I did. And it was a lot of fun. So I found whilst trying to find a detention slip for failing to attend a fucking detention. So yeah, that's what that provoked. Don't know if you enjoyed it. I did say to some of those closest to me on here that there'd be stuff coming out to do with my story and stuff like that. And because Harmony of Hearts also invited me to share my story on his channel, and I bottled it because it dips into some dark aspects of life that should be spoke about, like bullying, sexuality, growing up in the era I grew up in, and things that I went through. And another big part of it is as well, in that year in 1994, I did, later on in the year, I was stupid enough to do something really stupid just because I didn't fit in. And I was in a moment where I had enough, and I did try and end my life, which didn't do me any favours, trust me. If anything, in one sense, it made the situation worse. But yeah, kids do stupid things. Words hurt, bullying hurts. There's no need for it. We can all live here. The world's a big place, you know. We can all live here together, and just, if you don't like somebody, just leave them alone. If you don't like something, don't watch. You don't have to leave a load of comments on it that are just nasty and attacking a person, either on what they've said, done, what they've put in the video, or the way they look. Granted, if you put something out there, there's always going to be somebody who disagrees with what you're saying, and it's healthy to question stuff, and it's healthy to debate and give opinion and exchange things. Our differences are what connects us all as human beings, but to just fucking attack somebody because you don't agree or you don't like it, that's trolling. And I'll probably touch more on this because it's a big part of who I am, and I fucking hate bullies. If you can't sort your differences, then just walk away. Agree to disagree. It's a lot easier. Something really is burning, you know. I just don't. Yeah. It's fire in me. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it ain't scared you. I hope it ain't put anybody off. I would never stab or attack anybody in real life with pointy, sharp compass objects, knives, or anything. I'm not like that. I definitely wouldn't murder somebody and get kicks out of having the control and choice of whether or not to end somebody's life, or let them go and let them live. But I did enjoy playing that role because I got to see it from the other side, you know. It was a lot of fun, and I love acting as well. I think we've gathered that by now, haven't we, with all the mad costumes and characters I fuck about with. Mainly just to make people laugh, not to scare people or play killers. It's a bit gritty. It's a bit gritty, my stories, which is why I didn't go on Harmony of Hearts, and I didn't even know where to start or what part. My best mate has said to contact Rob and say exactly what story, what do you want me to cover, because he does cover a lot of issues like that. But again, I've got to be in the right frame of mind to talk about it, and today I was, and I've just covered those 4 things. There is a lot more. Some a lot funnier, you know, light-hearted than that. It's pretty dark, some of that. But yeah. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave me a comment on the tragedy that is my life. And I'm joking. If you're struggling with anything, you know you can always reach out. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook under Paula Madonna Shaw, and TikTok as well. There's also a rando TikTok, and there's another TikTok account under Paula Shaw. The same with YouTube. There's another YouTube account under Paula Shaw. One of the first ones I made. In fact, there's several thousand YouTube accounts I've got. feel free to subscribe to any of those, because if this one gets terminated, if I get 2 more strikes before July 28th, because yeah, Rando's always in trouble, Paula's always in trouble, as you can gather by now. Bit outspoken, bit risky, like to push the rules, break the rules, whatever, but I never intend to hurt anybody or upset anybody. That's never an intention. I don't get kicks out of that. That's just sick. But yeah, if you want to subscribe to any more of the YouTube channels, feel free, because if this one goes, if I get in trouble again, which could come easily out of this, and depending on community standards, or if anybody reports me like they did for the magic mushrooms that I'm meant to be growing that was a toadstool. The biggest thing that I featured in that video, you know, was these little things here, because it said the enchanting mushroom lady, but who is she? This is what I wanted to show you, because she looks just like Jasmine from Bad Cat Paranormal, and it's not Jasmine at all. It's just a lady. Look at that, all mushrooms around her that just looks a lot similar in features to Jasmine. It's not Jasmine, but she was like appearing every now and again randomly, like a subliminal message in the video that got took down and done for me, apparently showing you how to grow magic mushrooms. But it's the hair and everything, and the face, the makeup. Some of you would have seen it before it got took down. It was up for 2 weeks before they decided it was about growing magic mushrooms. Was it fuck? If I could grow magic mushrooms, mate, I wouldn't be making YouTube videos, would I? And I love that because of the book and the forests, and because I love the woods, forests and the outdoors and the enchantment and all of that jazz. So hopefully I've got away with showing those now without being done for growing psychedelics. And as well as that, right, if they really believe that, where's the coppers? Because it's illegal to grow those things in this country, and I'd consider that a criminal offence. Just saying. And why weren't it spotted when I originally uploaded the video? I think someone reported it. I can't prove it. I don't care anymore. I'm trying to focus on being good, but then at the same time, why should I just completely change who I am and who I have been my entire fucking life just because somebody decided to report me for growing drugs when I weren't even growing them? It was me chopping down an old tree that had got fungus growing up it in the garden, and I added those in for the Bad Cat fans who are my subscribers as well, because we all love the same creators, and tried to make it a bit, you know, maybe it was too creative, I don't know, and I don't know who reported it either. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. Please leave a comment, because I love reading your comments, and yeah, love you. On the next one.